Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video we are going to finish up a little bit the fender to start with. So just making sure the cut is straight, rounding up the angle, so finishing up what we did in the last video, cutting the frame in terms of the rear pegs and anything else that is on the frame that we don't need. And finally the main thing is going to be the seat bracket. So the idea is to finish that seat bracket. You've seen in the past video I started working on it, but I haven't showed you the process, so I want to show you that process, and I actually want to finish it to make sure that it's fully on the bike, and also put the seat, everything ready to be tested to make sure it's working well with the way I'm doing it. If you want to support the channel, don't forget to subscribe. Otherwise, let's get started. So I actually did it manually. It was only a couple of millimeters. That was just too much. So it would have been too difficult to remove so little with like an electrical tool. So manual was the way to go. So I also rounded up the angles here just a little bit so that it doesn't, if it touches the tire, it's not going to be too sharp. And yeah, so this is all good. The next step for this thing would be later on to remove the paint, make sure if there is any rust, and I know there is some around here, just take care of it and then get it repaired for painting. But that's going to be different videos for sure. Let's take care of the frame, and then we'll take care after of the seat bracket. Alright, let's get rid of rear peg. There is a weld in the back here and one right here. I'm hoping by cutting close to here will break and then be able to break the other part as well. I actually bended this now since it's cut, and so you can see it's actually, I could have done it even closer here to the weld. We'll smooth this out afterwards. You can use something like this or some tools, and then we can cut actually closer instead of cutting like kind of right here. We can cut a little bit closer and try to get this thing out basically. Alright, so it's actually been a few days, but let's get everything finished. What I just did, and I forgot to turn on the camera, is actually spread a little bit of primer on there. I should have done that a long time ago. I totally forgot. And since I just cut that a few days back, then at least it will protect a little bit from corrosion. But you can see any scratch or anything. This powder coat is very, very thin. So as soon as we're done with this, we'll protect it just to make sure temporary avoiding more corrosion. All right, so let's get finished with this side of the bike. There you go. So I started cutting here, and then after bending, starting cutting this, and then I was able to access actually this part by bending it further. And what I did, and let me show you. On the other side, I'm also close like this. So the advantage of doing a nice cut like this is I'm going to be able to smooth this out so that it looks nice and clean, and so that we don't really see that weld anymore, since I can actually remove just thin it, most of it, since the weld was holding that piece, so I don't really need it. And then as soon as we're done with this, I'll apply some primer just to protect temporarily, and then we'll do the other side. Alright, so nice and clean frame, no more rear peg here on this side. We do need to take care of the one on the other side, so that's the next step, and then we'll have the seating, and then get rid of all those little things. I'm gonna clean up the frame, really get rid of those things that are all kind of rusty and kind of very not super good. I mean, look at this one. And I think there is 3 more right here. I'm not 100% sure if I can get rid of it or if it's worth it, so I'll check it. It avoids, sometimes having zip ties, so that's actually nice. But in terms of under the tank, I actually prefer to just remove this and use my own way. Then as soon as we do this cleaning and the bracket, then we'll take care of the front end, which is not going to take too much time to remove the fork and the wheel, but to take it apart will definitely be a little bit more time consuming. And then we'll also take apart again this wheel and disconnect the rear completely so that everything is separated. We'll also disconnect the kickstand, and then kind of remove all the bolts and get the frame ready for cleaning and painting. Alright, second piece removed. Alright, so before I start, I want to show you guys. The idea is basically to have this right here. It would need to be bended about the half in order for it to kind of take the curve here. Then I'll bend this so that half of this will be right here, attached, bolted in here, same on the other side. And this part here would be gone and just folded a little bit here, just to add a little bit of strength on this part. And then when this is fully done, I'll just have to drill the holes for the springs wherever I feel is stronger. So the best is to have them a little bit closer to the frame, so it's stronger here than having them in the middle. I'll put the markings on there, start drilling and cutting, and we'll go from there. Alright, so I already started putting the marks. So this is half of the bar, right here. This is where I'm gonna do the bend. It could be different on your bike. It could have, you know, be closer. This is not very long, so it's actually better to be in the middle. It will be somewhat easier. This is the center of the under bar, and VOOS are where I'm gonna have to cut. Basically, this is where the frame of the bike comes in. So you have the frame right here and right here. So this bar will sit on the frame. So after I'm gonna get rid of this, if we assume this is the back, I'm gonna get rid of this. I'll bend a part of this to make it stronger. And then here I'll bend, so that's where I'm gonna need to drill in the bike, and it's gonna be attached to the frame. So this will be fully bent the other way, same on the other side, and I'll probably cut somewhat around here, since I don't need that full length, and it will not be, it's too tricky on the bike. So probably like something like this, and then afterwards I'll drill the stuff for the seat, but only after everything is done. So make sure this is sitting properly. So what we're gonna do right now is I need to do a cut, so not the full cut here, just half of it, right here and right here. But before I do that, I need to drill. So I'm going to drill some 3mm holes right here in order to make the cut and the bend possible. So by doing those holes and cuts here, I'll just have to bend this little piece here. So now that we have the holes, what we're gonna do is cut through this lane so that these parts are separated. Same on the other side. It will give us only this length between the two holes, so it will make things easier to bend this part. Alright, so this is how it looks on the bike. So you can see there's a little bit of a bend, and under this is touching perfectly, and here is a little bit of a gap, so I need to work on that a little bit. And other side is actually good. What we are going to do next is we're going to need to start bending this part, so the back part. The back part will need to bend it a little bit, so it's holding a little bit here. Then we'll cut it completely, like right here. So most of this part will be gone. Then on this left side here, so on the front part, we'll bend it and make sure that it's, you know, touching flat on there, and then we'll actually at some point cut it so it's shorter, because otherwise this is it's going to be way too long. Alright, so this is getting a little bit better. We just need to basically kind of take more of the curve, and same on the other side, so the other side is even more than this one. So as soon as we get this done, then we can look into where we're gonna drill most likely around here, I would say, for this piece, and then they will define where we're gonna drill around there. Let's continue on this by hammering this a little bit more further and then go from there. I have to say, this is definitely not easy. Kind of taking the form of that thing. I wish it was flat. It would be a lot easier. But you know, I have a big bowl pen hammer and a smaller one, so it helps. But you know, it's like trying to take the form as much as I can. Alright, so this is the left side of the bike, so you can see I've got quite a lot of mark, but that's okay. But you can see like the angle is so weird, but it fits nicely. So the only issue now is the other side, so let's do the other side and kind of round it up around here. So it's getting there. This side is almost down, pretty much. It's all nicely fitting. This part here will be cut here to be rounded, and right here the issue is really like just right here, just below here, it's empty. So it's just a question of like lowering it and kind of taking that curve. Right here is sitting perfectly, and then just lowering this further and further, and then we'll bend this further down, and then we'll be good to go. But otherwise it's fitting nicely. Then we'll be good to go to attach it to the frame. It's taking definitely longer than expected, but again, on that kind of parts you need to take your time in order to make sure it's molded to the frame the way you want it. This is the way it is right now. So you can see this one is nice and flush, but except like right here. So just this part here needs to be slightly a little bit more so that it doesn't do this. And then on the other side, it's this part here that needs to be touching completely. Yeah, and then after that, we're pretty much ready to drill this piece, make a mark on the frame, and start drilling and attaching it. All right. One thing you're not seeing is that I'm actually starting and stopping non-stop and going back on the bike to make sure that I'm getting closer and closer to the fit that it needs. So I'm going to check again and then do more if needed, and then I'll take care of the other side. So this is it. It's all good. There's a little bit of gap right here, but that's normal. This will be cut. Some here, I'm not sure. I might just round it up a light slightly, and then here we will round it as well quite a bit, run slightly here, and we'll be good to go. And from the other side, just to show you, so they're right at the edge right here, and here it's fitting nicely as well. Alright, so time to drill the bracket, and then we'll drill the frame. So based on this, we'll probably be right about here. And then I'll mark it just for now on the other one, but it's probably gonna be about. So I have my point, I'll put it right in the middle around this line here, and we'll drill this, mark the frame, drill the frame. And what we'll be using is exactly the same as what I used for the battery box. So the bolt, the washer, and the rivet. That rivet will go inside as soon as we drill, and then it will crush itself. But there's the thread in there, and you can just simply thread the bolt. So easy way to do it. Like this, you don't have to drill through the entire thing, and you don't have to try to get a bolt in there. So that's in my opinion, that's the only way that you should be doing this if you're drilling around here. Moment of truth. Alright, well, now we have the rivet attached. All nice and smooth. Alright, so let's put our bolt. Alright. So first one attached. Now we're gonna position slightly this one correctly and do the other side and go from there. Et voila! It's I just realized I wasn't filming, so I moved the camera and didn't film the on this side. But basically I put the rivet, just screwed on the bracket. I'm really happy of the way it looks. It's sturdy. We'll need to try with the seat. We'll need to figure out where to bolt on the holes for the spring. And yeah, and that's pretty much it. But it will be nice and painted afterwards, so it will look good. We'll figure out how to block off those things. I have maybe an idea, but I'm not sure yet. Normally you would do welding, it's the easiest, but same for the seats. But we are not doing this here, so this is how it looks like now. Alright, so I put back the tank. We have our bracket, and I thought I would show you what the idea started with, because I don't know if some of you might not have seen the video where I worked on this bracket, but this was the first draft, which was basically just trying to make it work with a very small piece, but that was not strong enough. And so this is now the end result. I'm gonna reattach it, and then what we have is our built well seat with the spring and the attach. So I'm gonna attach the seat on the front, and then we'll attach the bracket, and then try to figure out where we're gonna drill the two holes. Alright, so the seat is attached on the front part. It's not too tight, so I can move it a bit. But basically what we want to do is figure out where we're gonna put the marks for the seats. We might need to move a little bit. Let's put this. So what we're gonna do is we might need to move a bit the seat forward or backwards, and I believe right now it's a little bit backwards. The idea is that the holes goes on this side, not this one, so the further away, and closer to the frame than here. One of the reasons why we don't want it too close to the middle is because this is the weakest bending point. So by being the weakest point, it makes more pressure on the middle, which would bend easier the middle. So what you want to do is getting closer to the frame. So this is where it's stronger, and that will basically prevent any bending right here. So I have everything ready for drilling the holes here. What we'll use is what comes with the kit of the seat. Those are the bolt, screw, and the washer. And if you were wondering the name of the seat, it's basically built well. That's where I got it. It looks really high quality, and I think it's gonna be comfortable as well. So we'll see. I'll tell you more when I test it on the road. So let's get started and let's get the holes drilled for the springs. Off camera, I had to sit down and kind of figure out how to attach it nicely. I decided to actually put the bolt on this side instead. It doesn't make much difference because they're the same size approximately in the head. The only difference is it's not sticking out as much on the bolt itself. So let's do the same on this side and go from there. So it looks like now, so we need to test it for sure, but looks pretty good. I figured to show you the strengths of this bracket and also for me to check, is better to film directly right here. Let me actually move the bike like this and let's sit down. I'm giving a bit of push on the springs right now, and this is off. This is on, and a bit of push on the spring. So I figured let's add back the fender. If you guys haven't seen this, I've done another video before about the fender. This is actually the front fender that was taken from this bike and just converted. So check out the video if you want to know how to do this. So let's attach this and Alright, so I actually tied down the bracket again. It's tied quite well. Same for the fender. And yeah, this is actually pretty good. Alright, this is how it looks like with the fender. It's a little bit distorted because I'm zooming out, but yeah, this is pretty good. Alright guys, that's gonna be it for today's video. Super happy that I finally got the seat down. This was something that was a very long process for me. However, one big advice that I have in order to do this is get the proper tools. Get the vise if you need something to bend metal on the vise, proper hammer, things like this. This will make your life easier. It enabled me to go faster in the process than before, where I was kind of stuck. I do need to do finishing on the bracket of the seat. This is very minor. I probably might do it off camera. It's just kind of rounding up the corners, cutting them a little bit. Nothing major, so I'll do that when I get the chance. However, next time we're gonna take care of the front end. I mentioned that in previous videos. I definitely want to take care of that. The suspension is really bad in terms of seals and everything. It needs to be completely clean. But as soon as we do this, we'll take everything apart and get it painted. Until then, feel free to leave any questions or comment. I'll be happy to answer them. Otherwise, don't forget to subscribe to support the channel. I'll catch you up next time.